My name is Natalie King, and I am the proud founder and CEO of Dunamis Clean Energy Partners and Dunamis Charge, the first African-American woman-owned electric vehicle charging manufacturer in this world. Thank you. And you know, when I tell people that, they often do what you just did. They clap and they congratulate me. And I'm very appreciative of that. But for me, it's really not about being the first. It's not about being a woman. It's not about being Black. It's not even about being successful. It's about significance. And while a lot of people may say, well, hey, you know, being the first in and of itself is an indicator of success. For me, making sure that I pave the way so that I'm not the last is the ultimate measure of success in my life. So on May 20th, 2018, my entire life changed. And since then, not only am I living in my purpose, I'm helping other people to power theirs. So it was a Sunday, and I came home from a church service, and I was exhausted. I don't know if any of you go to church, but like after church naps are the absolute best naps, right? And so I come home from church service, and I'm exhausted. So I made a decision to do what significant and successful people have done before me. People like Winston Churchill and Thomas Edison and Albert Einstein and Margaret Thatcher and Ariana Huffington. They've all used this tool to run countries and win wars and create scientific theories and invent light bulbs and to build media empires. So what I did, I took a much needed power nap. You know, a nap is scientifically proven to be able in 10 to 30 minutes to give you really great benefits in your mind and in your body and even in your spirit. It can help you to boost your productivity. It can increase your energy. It can recharge your mood. It can help to increase your learning abilities and your memory abilities. There are a number of benefits that can happen when you just allow your body to restore the energy that it needs, your body and your mind and your spirit. So just like plugging in your electric vehicle into an electric vehicle charging station, a power nap can provide humans with the energy that it needs to recharge. You know, there are great things and great change that can happen when you take the ability to restore yourself. On that Sunday, a nap proved to me to be the absolute most powerful tool for innovation and change in my entire life. So today, what I would like to do is empower you to channel the power in a power nap for you to be able to reimagine some of the world's biggest problems, seemingly insurmountable problems like climate change or social change or any change that you want to see in this world. So, in order to help you to remember, I want you, when you think of NAP, to think of need, awareness, and power. So let's start with need. You know, any real catalyst for change is based in a need. And needs come in all different sizes and shapes and forms. Now, I felt like I had a need to go and buy my 6 pair of black stiletto size 7 shoes. Today, can some of my ladies give me a little shout out? You know what I'm saying? You know, because the other 5 didn't really go with this outfit. But that's really not the need that I'm talking about today. Today, we're talking about serious need, impactful needs, widespread global needs, needs like clean energy, clean water and clean air, needs like economic parity and social justice and social equity. These needs are absolutely essential for us. Why? Because they are a solution to a widespread global problem that impacts all of us. And this is a part of my passion and why I started my EV charger manufacturing company, Dunamis Charge, because it was a direct correlation to the need for a solution for climate change. And not only climate change that's impacting the world as a whole, but climate change that's impacting communities, in particular, communities of color that are the most disproportionately impacted by greenhouse gas emissions. So I want to give you a little history of the EV industry, as all of you, I'm sure, have known and heard, is expanding and booming every day. Now, a lot of you may not know, but electric vehicles were actually created before traditional gas engine cars. How many of you knew that? Right? So an electric vehicle was created back in the late 1820s. And it became a very popular transportation solution by the beginning of the 20th century. But in 1908, Henry Ford, in his brilliance, developed the Model T. And it was fast, it was cheap, and it was accessible. And we know as humans, we like fast, cheap, and accessible. So the electric vehicle really took a significant blow in popularity because the common man now had the ability to utilize a gas engine vehicle, and there were many jobs that were created from that. And although there were many benefits to the creation of, our regular transportation gas engine vehicles, it really dealt a heavy blow for our environment that would not be realized for over another century to come. So here we are, 2022, almost over 200 years later, and the electric vehicle is now gaining popularity, now gaining an awareness and an acceptance for mass adoption. And we still have a ways to go for that. So the reason for that is because not everyone accepts or realizes or even pays attention to the need. So climate change, for the most part, is an accepted crisis. And clean energy, for the most part, is a solution to that crisis, most people believe. However, the truth is that not everyone really sees a need. And the reason for that is because not everyone believes that they are impacted by the problem. And for many communities like Louisiana's Cancer Alley, communities like Pahokee, Florida's Black Snow, communities like Flint, Michigan, who have had to drink and bathe in and cook with toxic water still today, even though it happened over 3 years ago. These communities can tell you about need because they know what it's like to live through those impacts. They know what it's like to wake up with smokestacks in their communities when they walk out of the door. They know what it's like to send their children to poorly educated school systems. They know what it's like to breathe in toxic air and to drink toxic water. They know the need because they've experienced the impact. And so for those communities, they all have this strand of commonality. And most of the time, these communities are poor and they are communities of color. And so that's why my work is so very passionate to me. It's so very important because bringing clean energy to these communities that are the most disproportionately harmed by greenhouse gas emissions, this industry for electrification, most of these communities would not even be concerned about it. They're more focused on making sure that they can feed their families. We don't want to pass these communities by. So we need to make sure that we empower them to bring the technology to them so that they can be benefited by this burgeoning electrification boom. So how do you then, if you don't have a need, because quite frankly, where most of us live, the people in this room or the people that may be watching this out in internet land, they don't have to wake up with these smokestacks in their communities, because for wealthy communities and non-minority communities, you're not going to have those things in your community. You may have read about the Flint water crisis, but you've never had to cook or bathe or drink toxic water for yourself, or your children do the same. So how is it then that you have a need and then get to a place where we're reimagining what the solution for that need is going to be? That takes us to the A in our power nap, awareness. And awareness means no more than just knowing about a problem. Awareness means that you become critically aware about what that problem means. And quite frankly, critical awareness means simply empathy. You actually feel what another person is feeling. You put yourself in their shoes, even if you're not directly impacted by it. And when you have the ability to do that, then we can all be a force for positive change. I want you to think about this. Let's just say that we had all heard of a story of an unarmed Black man walking down the street, and he was arrested for a petty fraud crime. During that, an altercation ensued, and the police officer ended up killing this Black man because he resisted arrest. And that was the end of the story, as it so often is, right? But when George Floyd occurred, we became critically aware, because for 9 minutes and 26 seconds, the entire world watched while an unarmed Black man begging for his breath was murdered right before our eyes at the hands of a white police officer that did not allow any mercy. And at that time, we became keenly, even painfully aware of the truth, that we needed social justice in this country, that we needed reform within our justice system to stop police brutality. We became aware, and as a result of that, what happened? Mass protests all around this globe and across this country particularly to affect change, transformation. And although we do still have a way to go, we're not completely there yet, change has happened. Movements have started, and awareness is now there. We cannot unsee what we saw that day. And now we cannot unknow what we now know from that day. And so from that, awareness has occurred. You know, at Dunamis, we have a saying that says sustainability without equity is simply sustaining inequity. So in everything that we do at Dunamis, it is geared towards using power to empower our communities. So that takes us to the P in our power nap, the power itself. Some of you may be wondering why I called the company Dunamis. The name Dunamis is the Greek word for power. But dunamis has a special meaning. It means supernatural power. It's a limitless energy that is transformative and changing. I know it to be God power. But the truth is that that power is in each and every one of you that is in here today. It is a power that is innate in us and gives us the ability to effectuate change, social change, change in our lives personally, change in our lives for our families, change in our lives for our communities, and change for everyone's lives in this world. The power in the power nap simply means that we have the power to create the change within ourselves. When I woke up from that nap, I knew exactly what I had to do. It was very clear to me, and that was to start an electric vehicle charging company. And each and every one of us have that same power to effectuate change, to be the change that we want to see. So I encourage you all today, in the immortal words of EPMD, relax your minds and let your conscience be free. Tap into the power that is within you, and then surrender to that. You know, we do all the time, but the power is really in not doing. The power is in being. And when you surrender to that being, then you are going to find your significance. And when you find your significance, then you are going to be successful at reimagining the future for all of us. Thank you.